All right, well, welcome to the Top 3 on Blab. I'm Lynn Bardowski, founder at Million Dollar Party Girl. Well, I teach women in direct sales how to kick ass. And I will be joined by our co-host soon, but I'm really excited about our guest tonight. Hey, Lisa.
Hey.
Now, you have to pronounce your last name for everybody because everybody gets it wrong.
Yeah, that's okay. It's Lisa Balthaser.
Yes. And you are a content marketing social media strategist, right?
Yes, correct.
Did I do you good service there and explaining that?
Did. Perfect.
I was stalking your bio, totally stalking it. So this kind of came about because we were talking about Facebook and, due to the new algorithms, how so much is limited to what we actually see in our feed, and really how it's based on, how many people are engaged and commenting and liking. And that's pretty much, your super fans are really only seeing the good stuff. If you want other people to see it, you really have to pay to play. And we had this conversation and you said, no, that's not true. Correct?
Right. Well, to a point, yes, correct. There are some things that you can do that can help the engagement on your page. Now, in order for you, like say you have 5,000 people that like your page, you're probably not going to get 5,000 people that see your content unless you pay.
So let's backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
All right. So first tell everybody a little bit. I mean, I gave the thumbnail version of what you do. Tell everybody really what you do, what your expertise is, and then we'll get into your top 3 tips.
Okay. So I do social media marketing for small to medium-sized business owners. So basically, I help them gain reach and engagement online through content marketing and blogging. I'm very much an advocate for blogging because I think blogging really, it does so much that people just don't really understand. But I played around a little bit with some Facebook things and I figured a couple things out, and I figured out how to reach more people without paying. Because, everybody, that's the big thing. Everybody wants to be able to do as much as they can for nothing. And you know what? We should be. There's no reason why we shouldn't be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know there's so much frustration because you could have, like you said, 5,000, whatever it is, 500, 5,000, and it's like one like, and it's like you put all this time and effort with little to no result, which I really think is the perception now of like, should I really spend my time on Facebook? And yes, you have to be on Facebook. That's where people are going to Google you. They're going to search. They're going to see, oh my gosh, her last post was like January. She's obviously out of business, right? So you do need to be constant, at least consistently once a day, right? Sharing some kind of valuable content. So tell us a little bit about your strategy. So obviously we want to know your top 3 tips, but what is really the secret sauce? Because I know you said it really has to do with targeting.
Yes. One of the main things that I do, and, it's funny because it's not even that simple because Facebook is tricky. I mean, they are watching everything the business pages are doing, so they know what you're doing. So when I give tips to people, I put a word of caution in there, and the word of caution is don't do this on every single post, because what will happen is Facebook will get smart and they will say, oh, well, this person's doing this, so then nobody will see your stuff. So
like you can't win.
I'm sorry?
You can't win. Like you finally figure it out and it's like Big Brother is checking it.
I know. So I do this. I use targeting on my main posts, like for instance, for my blog posts and for my any kind of branded content and any kind of thing that's important to my page. Okay, something that's going going to drive people to my website or potentially make me money, and I do it on my Tuesdays tips also. So, and that is the targeting. Now, when I say targeting, it's so funny because people don't realize that you can target for free. People always think I mean paid Facebook ads, and I don't.
Right. Usually you see targeting when you boost.
Right. And it's the exact same type of targeting. Exactly the same. So if you know who your market is through Facebook ads, if you're successful with Facebook ads, if you're successful when you're boosting your post, you already have your target down. It's that same target. Okay, so what I do, and if you're not familiar with targeting on regular posts, if you I'll backtrack a little bit, because a lot of people, when I've been teaching classes on this lately, and I find that a lot of people haven't actually activated this on their page. So you have to go into the settings of your page, and I believe it is, you know what, I'm going to have to go to my page because I can't remember exactly what it says. You have to go to the settings on your page.
This happens when you set up your page initially, correct? It's as you're setting it up, it has you specify who you want to target, correct?
Well, it depends, because see, my page was several years old. This was not an option back when I set my page up.
Okay.
So up on the top right hand corner of your page, you'll click on settings, and then you'll be automatically in the general tab, and then you'll go down to where it says audience optimization for posts. And then you click on edit and you check the box to allow preferred audience selection. And then you click save changes. And that allows you to actually target a post. And you'll see it, because when you click in the status update, how you know if you have it or you don't have it is you click in your status update, and when you click in the status update box, you will see at the bottom a bullseye.
Ah, okay. So probably most people don't even know how to create this as an option, right?
Right. That's why I backed up a little bit, because when I've been teaching classes, what I've been finding is that most people don't have it activated. So it's actually not there. So when I say targeting, I say, it's that little bullseye at the bottom. They're looking at me like I have two heads. Because they don't have it on their page, because you have to actually turn it on.
Okay. So you turn it on by clicking on that preferred settings.
Mm-hmm. So once you set it up and you have that little bullseye at the bottom, you can go ahead and go in before you hit post. Now you can't, if you forget to do this, you can't go back and do it after you've already posted. So you have to do it before you hit publish. But when you have it set up, even if you click in the box, you don't even have to write anything, just to practice. You can go in,
right,
and it'll have two tabs. It'll say preferred audience, and it'll have an interest tab.
So this is after they click on the bullseye.
Yes. It brings up a box, and it'll have the interest tab, and it'll have the audience restrictions tab. And you want to actually look at both of them. At first, when I started targeting, I made the mistake of not looking at both. But the reason you want to look at both is because the audience restrictions actually starts at age 13. So yeah, I don't really want people 13. I'm not looking at that.
They're not going to become a client.
They're not my target audience. So you want to actually. So I actually go in. The only thing I change on the restrictions when I do it personally is the age range. But the first side of it,
age, right? Gender.
Yeah, it says
male, female.
Age and gender, and then location. You can do it by location. You can also do it by language.
So if you only sell a product available in the United States, you obviously want to target, or even honing that even narrower. If you're a small business in Texas, you can just target Texas so that your post will be seen by people that can actually become a customer.
Right. And what I key in on for mine, and it really depends on what your product or service is, but for mine, I really key in on the first side, the preferred audience, where it has interests. And on the interest tab, I usually target pages.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, one of the people who I look up to and model myself after is Kim Garst. So I target her page, okay, as an interest, because a lot of people that would follow her would also be my clients.
So we'll make that tip number 2, because that's a really good one. Right. So any page that you think would be a similar client that would be interested. So if you sell fashion, we'll just, fashion, and your customer might also be a Nordstrom shopper. You could actually type Nordstrom, and people that like Nordstrom will see your post.
Right.
Correct?
Right. Yes, correct. These are people that like your page already, though. Now, right. When I first started toying with this, they have changed that screen since I first started doing this. When I first started doing this, like, say you have 5,000 people on your page and you go in and you do your targeting. As you're doing your targeting, it will tell you how many people of those 5,000 people will actually potentially see your post. So say you do your targeting and now you're down to like 1,900. I used to get people totally freak out because they're like, oh my God, I have 5,000 people on my page and only 2,000 are going to see it. And they start freaking out. But the thing is with that is that some people that like your page they may have done it because they were your friend, because they were your relative, or just because they happened to see it one day and they liked a post, but they're not necessarily your target audience. When you're marketing, you should be keying in on who your target is at all times. So as you're targeting these people, what's going to happen is they will start interacting with your post. And what happens because you're keying in on the people that you really want to see it, the people that would most likely react to that post. When they react to it, whether they like it, whether they comment on it, every single time that happens, that goes into their feed on their page. So their friends would potentially see your post, which increases your reach. Does that make sense?
Doing this all organically, basically, for free.
Yes. So I've been playing around with it, and that's how I have increased some of my reach for free, because I was just trying to figure out, because everybody always says, oh, I don't have money for this. And even when I work with clients, they don't want to advertise, and they have this aversion to advertising. You really have to advertise, though, if you really want to reach the masses. This is just something that you can do. Like, you're in a bind, you don't have the money, or maybe it isn't something you want to necessarily pay for advertising for. This is an option, okay, to get your reach to increase. So, and then the other thing with that is when people react to it, you want to make sure that you go in and respond to any comments, because again, that puts it back in the feed. So that's every time there's something done, it puts it back in the feed. Even if you have a post that, say somebody likes it and it's somebody that you haven't heard from in a long time and they just liked it, you may even want to comment on that, because again, you're putting it back in the feed. Every little thing you do is putting it back in the feed. So it's all a matter of like getting the reactions to the post, whether it's in comments or whether it's in likes, and then you as the business owner reacting to it to again put it back out there in the feed, because everything that you do is putting it back in the feed, and that's where you want it.
So I mean, I feel like this is like a secret that nobody knows. We need to get the word out. So I'm going to do a little recap. So number one, go into your settings. Make sure you have that preferred audience. Check that box, right? And where do they find that? They go into settings, general.
And yeah, it's settings, general, and it's just under the audience preferences.
Audience preferences.
Yeah.
And then every time you post, you'll see the bullseye.
Right.
Click on that. If you don't have that, you know that you didn't do the first step. Click on your bullseye, and then you're going to go and target age, gender, and then interest, and then really think of who your client is, what other pages. So I'll give an example for me. For those of you that follow me, you know I'm in direct sales for 26 years, built a multi-million-dollar party light business. So party light, I actually many times will put, Bed Bath and Beyond as an interest, right? Because those are usually those young homeowners that are decorating. All the brides have their wish lists, their bridal registries. And so that's always a top one for me. And then also anthropology. The anthropology customer tends to be, again, that, Gen Y, millennial. And again, these are my daughters. So that's how they're my market research. That's how I know. It's like whatever they love. I'm like, okay, that's what I'm going to try. So nothing to do, what you would think off the top of your head of like a candle company, but anthropology, that customer will typically also be a party light customer. They're a young, buyer that is buying a house or likes to spend money on decorating and home goods and those type of products. So I really feel like this is genius, actually, because I didn't know about this, and I do a lot of social media marketing. So this is just really brilliant, because so many times less is more. And I feel like that's not the message. The message is all numbers, when in reality, to win the engagement more, less is more. You're better off targeting to that ideal customer that wants what you have to offer, the super fan, and speaking to that audience, than having all your friends that will never buy from you in a million years like your page just because you asked them to.
Right. And see, while it's nice to have all the likes on your page, because, it does look better when you do have more likes, you want to have the right likes. You want to have the right people following your page. I mean, I think we've all asked our friends and family. I mean, I think just about everybody that has a page has done that. So, but the thing is, they're probably not your target market, and that's just a fact. So there you already have a group of people that like your page that are potentially not going to interact with your page. They're just alike. They're just there.
And so, how does that impact your page rank? Because I know Facebook is watching that as well. It's almost like fake likes. I call it a like and run. They like, they never, it's like a hit and run. It's a like and run. They like it and they never come back.
Yeah, well, it can impact your page, because it can decrease where, the feed time that you get, because your page rank will be lower, but because you're not having as many fans interact with your page, because it's all about how many of your fans are interacting with your page at any given time. So that's what they look at. So if you have like 5,000 people on your page, and then when you're posting, nobody's interacting with your page, there's a problem. I mean, there's definitely a problem, because you should have some people react to your page if you're doing it right.
If you're doing it right. So that leads us to tip number 3. So, what suggestion do you have? I know it's a combination of, motivational quotes always are up there, right? Obviously, great value. One of the questions I think that I get asked the most when it comes to social media is, okay, somebody liked whatever the post was. Now what do I do? I think people think that they now needs to respond to that person, but really there's no way to do that without looking like a crazy stalker, right? Like,
Right.
just because I try to tell people, just because they liked your post doesn't mean they want to buy it, right?
That is correct. Oh, I could tell you some stories about that, because
Yeah.
I try to support people as much as I can, and I tend to like things that I see in the feed just as support of people. And I can't tell you how many messages that I've gotten. Oh, I see you like this. Do you want to buy it? Like, no, I just like it. I can't buy everything. It just isn't going to work.
Yeah. So a like doesn't mean I want to buy. And, that's not how social media works. People like just because either one, they want to be supportive, two, it was a cute picture. They have no idea what the message was about. It was like they're going through their feed and they're like, that's cute. Like, what is the proper follow-up to take that conversation to the next level? Do you wait till somebody comments and then that's the opportunity to follow up?
Not necessarily. I mean, like I said, if you have people that interact with your page and they don't interact for a while, and then you post something and maybe they like a couple things, and you're like, hey, you might want to just even reply to your own post and say, hey, so and so, whatever their name is, I see you like the past few posts. How have you been? Start a conversation on your post, because then you're putting it back in the feed. I'm just saying.
Just saying. But that makes,
I mean, it doesn't have to be obnoxious. I mean, you don't want to sell, like I always say, social media is about being social. So it's really about cultivating those relationships that you are developing through your business page and through your personal account. Because remember, again, not everybody is going to like your business page. So it's not even just about your business page, because some people won't like your page. Some people want to connect with you personally, and that happens. I mean, I would never not connect with somebody on a personal level that I met through a networking event just because they friended me. I mean, I've had people that are funny like that, and they're like, well, I want to keep my business, but it depends on your business. Like my business, it's kind of like it's all the same. It's all intertwined.
Yeah, it's like you're out there.
Yeah.
But I always feel that consumers are smart. And I don't think that we give them enough credit, that when people want something, they'll figure out how to get it, right? And again, I see this with my daughters. I'll go out to dinner with them. Now, my oldest is 30, my youngest is 28, and they will have already Googled the restaurant, know who the chef is, checked out the menu, and know what they want to order.
Wow.
Now, that doesn't even go through my head. I'm like, oh, I wonder what's on the menu.
Wow, I check when I get there.
Right? Like, I don't even think about that. But I think that, that is very much the consumer of today. If people see something and they want it, they will figure out how to get it. They don't need you to sell them, right? If someone's excited about something, they'll Google it. They'll Google you. They'll figure out how to get it. And I think in many ways, we're overthinking it. How do we connect with our customer? How do we get people to buy? Well, if you're being social and engaging and just having the conversation, like you said, and just saying to people, how you doing? What's happening? Keeping it real. Having real conversations on social media. Then build that like, know, and trust factor, and they'll come back and figure out how to buy from you.
Exactly. And that's really what it's all about. I mean, and also you want to try to get them involved in some of your posts. Like, I've seen some really successful posts put out there on pages, and I'm not saying that it's for everybody. Excuse me. I'm not saying that everybody should do this, but if you have something that happened to you in your business, even if it's something that's a fail, more than likely other people can relate to that fail. And it starts a conversation because more than likely you're not the only one out there that this has happened to. And other people, if it happened to them, they're going to chime in because you know what? You've touched a nerve on them when you put that post out there. So, I wouldn't be afraid to like tell stories, or, if, say, you lost money and, this was a fail. I didn't do this, this, and this. It starts a conversation. I wouldn't be afraid to put that out there.
So really just be authentic and keep it real. And I think people do relate to that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So it's already 9:30. Can you believe it? It's already been 30 minutes. I am gonna take a quick 2-second break, and then I'm gonna have you share your top tip. Like if you could share like one thing you did that got a ton of engagement on Facebook, I'll let that marinate. And I'm going to give, I'll let you think about that. And then I want to give our sponsor, so our show sponsor, Dana Romano Photography. I'm going to pop her website in the chat. She did all the branding shots. So any photos that you see of me, my headshot, my co-host, Nicole DeFeo, she did our whole branding photo shoot. She's amazing. I'm just checking to see who's tuning in. And so definitely check out her website. Hey, David, are you drinking energy drinks right now? I see you're an energy drink fanatic. And she's our show sponsor, so we have to give her a shout out. I saw that in your bio. We all need a little bit more energy drinks in our life, right? So yeah, definitely check out Dana's website. Find her on Facebook. Tell her that we gave her a shout out on the Top 3 show on Blab. All right. So, Lisa.
Yes.
Can you think of one thing you did that was like, oh my God, this really worked?
Well, it's kind of a combination of what I do that actually does work for me. And that is doing the targeted posts. I have my targeting pretty well down, so I use pretty much the same targeting each and every time. My products don't change, so my target is always exactly the same. Some people have more than one target audience, or it can change slightly, but mine's pretty much all the same. It doesn't really change too much. So I do the targeting combined with sharing it into some key groups on Facebook, the post from my business page into some key groups on Facebook that have my target audience in them. Okay, so that combination has significantly increased the reach on some of my posts that I needed to be seen.
So that's interesting. So when you target your post and then you share it, does that targeting carry over onto the share?
I don't think it does. I don't know the answer, to be honest, but I don't think it does, because I've wondered that myself. I don't believe it does, though, because it seems like the group does see it. Okay. I believe the targeting just sticks on your page, but if you're sharing it, don't share it all over the place. I mean, and if you do share it more than a few places, share it like a couple in the morning, a couple later in the day.
That is great advice.
Don't do 10, 15 all at the same time, because that's just crazy and nobody needs to see that. And the thing is, if you do all of those at one time, you're putting all of that in the newsfeed all at one time. And it just makes no sense, because you can be spreading it out and doing a little here and a little there over a 24-hour period and having constant newsfeed time. So be smart about it. I just gave you like a whole bunch of things.
I know, but seriously, people do not realize when they share in a group that it shows up in the newsfeed. Obviously, if the group is public, right? And I can't tell you how many times I get notified. And a lot of these networking groups are public groups. And I can't tell you how many times I get notifications, like literally within seconds, shared in this group, shared. Same exact verbiage, same exact post, and it makes you like a crazy spammer is what it is. And then there's those 5 posts in the newsfeed. And I don't think people realize that when they're sharing in a public networking group, that's coming up in their newsfeed.
Yeah, I've wondered. I've been trying to really spread mine out. So like I'll do a couple in the morning, then I'll do a couple more in the afternoon, and then I'll do a couple more in the evening. And usually I try to do it at prime times that I know my audience is online. So that puts it in the news feed multiple times, and that combined with the sharing and the targeting has significantly increased. I would say, like say a post gets 100 normally. That same post can get anywhere, by doing that, can get anywhere from reach. I'm talking about here. I'm sorry. Say you normally would get 100 if you just posted it on your page and did nothing. Okay. So if you target it and you strategically share it, you can get anywhere from, on that same post, 400 to maybe 1,500, depending on how keyed in your targeting is.
All right, so we have some feedback here. So Ashley is saying that she wants to chime in. I'll be happy to give you a seat, Ashley. She has insights on Facebook dark posts. I don't even know what that is, but maybe you do, Lisa. And then Church Buzz, Patrick is saying, do you use Buffer? Which, of course, is great for scheduling all your posts. So then you don't look like a crazy poster. Do you use a scheduling tool, Lisa?
I use Hootsuite and Buffer. It depends. I use Buffer to post to some of the groups that I manage, but I use Hootsuite for my page.
And is there a reason?
I just like the capabilities with the groups for Buffer. I don't, no particular reason. I just like the way they work for each of those things.
And then David's asking, can you use Buffer on Twitter?
Yes. Or no, wait. Yeah. Yeah, you can use Buffer on Twitter.
Yeah.
But as for dark posts, you know what? I know what they are. I have never done dark posts, so I can't really respond to that.
All right, so Ashley reached out to me because we're actually at the end of the show, but maybe that would be you could come on and be a guest. That would be a great topic because I have no idea what that is either. Ashley loves Buffer as well. Yeah, you definitely have to schedule because, and that's like a whole nother show, is if you're not scheduling at the time that your audience, whoever your audience is, would be engaging, you're wasting your time. You know, if your audience is more the 2 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon and all your posts are going out at 10 a.m., that's why you're hearing crickets. Yeah. And I see that a lot too. It's like nobody's there.
Yeah, I see a lot of people post at like, and this is always, this always really puzzles me. And I guess it's because that's when they're available. But I see a lot of people posting at like midnight.
Yeah.
And it always puzzles me. I mean, there's some people, I mean, I'm on at midnight, but the majority of people are not on at midnight. And from the analytics that I've seen on most people's accounts that I've viewed, 9 o'clock seems to be about the cutoff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. And again, it's knowing your audience too. It really depends who your audience is.
It does.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up. We're actually a little bit 10 minutes over, but Ashley, definitely reach out to me. I would love to have you as a guest on a future show. Maybe we can do a whole show about Facebook dark posts because I don't even know what that is. Apparently we need to talk about it. So thank you. This was really great. You really shared some, I think a lot of people probably have no idea that they can do that targeting at no cost to them. and really engage with an audience that is interested in what they're posting and not just their sister that lives down, down the street that liked their page 10 years ago.
Right.
Or 2 years ago. All right. Thank you, Lisa. Any parting words for our audience?
No. Well, just like I said, I'm an advocate for blogging because that blog and that live stream and the live streaming combined, you can get so many posts out of those things. It's crazy. For all the people that say they don't know what to post, do a live stream or do a blog post, because you know what? You have at least a week's worth of posts there. If you're doing it right.
I have a backlog.
I do too.
We all have a backlog. All right, guys. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We so appreciate your feedback. Ashley, reach out to me. We'll definitely get you on the show. You can find me on Twitter, same handle. So I'm pretty easy to find. Thank you, Lisa. I have to check my page because I don't think I've done the part in the settings. I've never seen that bullseye on my post. So I learned a lot. I learned something new myself.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Lynn. I appreciate it.
All right.
Lots of fun.
I know it's always fun on Blab, right? Blabbing is always fun. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you. I'm kicking you out, Lisa.
Okay.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Have a great night.